the belly of the people you have called. There's a power that breaks the silence of the souls with untold pain, and we lay it on the line, and we leave it all behind. Lord, let us rise, 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 rise like you rose from the grave, and we'll shine, 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 shine like the stars in the sky, reflecting your love. We will walk in the light. We will rise, 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 rise like you rose from the grave, and we'll shine, we'll shine, shine, shine like the stars in the sky, reflecting your love. We will walk in the light of the sun. Oh, we'll walk in the light of the sun. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Breakthrough, breakthrough all my lives. Breakthrough, breakthrough all my fears. Breakthrough, that I may worship you. Oh, breakthrough, breakthrough all my breakthrough, all my guilt and my shame. Breakthrough, that only you can do. Let's do that again. Breakthrough, breakthrough all my lies. Breakthrough, breakthrough all my fears. Breakthrough, I will worship you. Oh, breakthrough, breakthrough all my breakthrough all my life, breakthrough all my fears, breakthrough. Lift your voice, breakthrough all my pain, breakthrough, guilt and my shame, breakthrough. Let's do that again. Breakthrough. Breakthrough. Breakthrough all my lives. Breakthrough. Breakthrough all my fears. Breakthrough. And I will worship you. Oh, breakthrough. 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 Let's do it again. I want to hear your voices. Breakthrough. Breakthrough all my lives. Breakthrough. Breakthrough all my fears. Breakthrough again. And I worship you. Oh, breakthrough. Breakthrough all my pain. Breakthrough. All my guilt and my breakthrough. Like only you are brighter than my darkest night, stronger than my covenant. Just one touch from you, I'm in the friend, and I'll never be the same. You are brighter than my darkest night, stronger than my covenant. a little different genre. All right, so this song was birthed in captivity, where it's a classic African American song of liberation, and all of those songs had kind of a double entendre, talking about freedom here and freedom there. And so this was not meant to be performed. It was meant to be sung collectively as a way of encouraging. Anybody need encouragement? Yep. You get encouragement and you want more encouragement, right? So all the words are not up there, but I want you to sing it with me. You'll catch on because it's really simple. I'm going home on the morning train. I'm going home on the morning train. I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home on the morning train. I'm going home on the morning train. I'm going home on the morning train. I'm going home. I'm going home on the morning train. Do it again, come on. I'm going home on the morning train. I'm going home on the morning train. I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home on the morning train. Evening train might be too late. Evening train might be too late. Evening train, oh evening train. Evening train might be too late. I'm going home on the morning train. I'm going home on the morning train. I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home on the morning train. Evening train might be too late. Evening train might be too late. Evening train, evening train, evening train might be too late. Come on, church, and let's go home. Come on, church, and let's go home. Come on, church. Come on, church. Come on, church, and let's go home. Come on, church, and let's go home. Come on, church, and let's go home. Come on, church. Come on, church. Yeah. Get right, church, and let's go home. Get right, church, and let's go home. Get right, church. Get right, church. Get right, church. One more time. Get right, church. Get right, church, and let's go home. Get right, church, and let's go home. Get right, church. Get right, church. Get right, church. Love Jesus, bless his name. My soul, love Jesus, my soul, loves Jesus, my soul. Love Jesus, bless his name. And you have to understand that when my forebears sang songs like these, and you saw those male pronouns in the songs, you know, we're still recovering from patriarchy, but there was something intentional about it. And that is that there was another hymn that was higher than the hymn that thought they were in charge. Are you following me? Huh? My soul, love Jesus, my soul, love Jesus, my soul, love Jesus, bless his, my soul, love Jesus, my soul, love Jesus, my soul, love Jesus, we bless his name. For thou, O Lord, art God above the earth. Thou art exalted above all. reading.
I just need to make sure that you check.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
You are welcome.
All right. Good morning. Yeah. As they were walking by early the next day, they saw the fig tree had dried up right from the roots up. And Peter remembered it. He said to Jesus,
Teacher, look,
The fig
the
tree
fig
that you
tree that you
cursed,
cursed,
"Earth."
it's all dried up.
Jesus
Jesus
answered
Jesus
and said
answered
to all
and
of
said
them,
to all of them,
have
have
faith
faith
in
in
God.
God.
I'm telling you seriously, whoever says to this mountain, throw yourself in the ocean, and doesn't doubt in heart, but believes will happen for them. So I'm telling you,
All the
things
things
you
you
pray
pray
for and
for
ask
and
for,
ask for,
believe
believe
that
that
you
you
receive them,
receive,
and it will be
and
that
it will
way
be
for
that
you.
way for you. Amen.
and whenever you're standing there praying, forgive whatever you are holding against somebody. That way your Father
Father in heaven
Will
will
forgive
forgive your
your
offenses.
offenses.
All right. Well,
All right, and now off to Peter
yeah.
for announcement.
Hey, Peter.
And keep Julia in your prayers. She'll be here in town tomorrow, having a surgical procedure. So keep her in your prayers.
Good morning, everybody. So, was that an amazing worship? I think we should thank the worship team. Amazing. So, it's July 28th today. The message is After Empire Part 3. So, very excited to hear what comes next. Next Sunday, we'll be back on Zoom. So, nothing in person, back on Zoom as typical. And then this Wednesday, this is, we meet every other Wednesday. This Wednesday is the Wednesday that we meet on Zoom as well. Same Zoom that we join in on Sunday morning. If you can make it, it's great. It's so much fun. Just a great time to get together in the middle of the week when maybe you're feeling low from work or other burdens during the week, and we can join in fellowship and just have a good time. So sometimes there's a theme, and sometimes it's pretty free format. Thanks to everyone for your giving, both big and small. It's only through that we can be here together, and just remember you are paying it forward. Today's quote is from Muslim comedian Reverend Dr. William Barber II, and he says, "Love mercy, walk humbly before your God. It's not enough to conquer the opposition. In a non-violent struggle, we are committed to fight on until we win our adversaries as friends." So now we're going to break out, and David has asked me to come up with something. So my question to you is do you believe in miracles? And if you do, is that something just for you personally, or do you think of it more globally? And anyway, so that's the question. Miracles. Do you believe in miracles?
We just saw one. We just saw an epic miracle. Everybody see that miracle come up the other last 4 days? I don't even know.
How did that even happen? You guys know what you're saying.
So unimpressed.
Even that, I can believe in it, but I have to see God. That's the way God sees it.
Now I think there's no words.
The divine intervention. coming down and
What do you
making
think
the
about
way.
that? You think people are ready for a woman? I think it's black. Oh my God, I hope so. It's about
I think it's a perspective. Always here, always present, and we coming down and like she's just
The people that they're
What about those that are on the fence?
What happened to the breakout room?
A lot of faith. A lot of those people.
Not to say that she's cured everything, but it's just back to become she wanted to go home. What else you can do? The doctors can't explain it.
That's amazing detail. From
They
Pennsylvania.
literally said it's a matter of days.
They need him. That was my problem with it. But anyways, that's my miracle.
So there's my miracle. Sorry, I wasn't trying to do my best, but go
And the humanitarian was pretty big deal. And both Palestine and Israel, best solution.
Okay.
Two state things. But anyway, that's such a strong. David, there was someone on David.
that's what I'm
the first one that I
But she
saw.
the whole but she also said it matters. You saw her speak right after she was a very positive mood.
She said she never wanted to be buried.
I should. So I don't think it is.
So everybody
Everybody has their But anyway, that's my miracle. That would be my miracle. I'm going to get it all.
Okay.
Then we can make some changes. Oh, well, please. That's the scariest thing. I don't know a lot about it.
I'm glad to see that vision on the other end. There's another curve.
Definitely.
just their mannerisms, the way they got things.
Or was it just? I don't know.
Well, most of the family.
But I think there's
But it was there are
So my daughter sent this little clip that said that well, he was giving a speech, and he's holding a speech to Christians and talking to them. Oh, I heard it. Oh, you heard it. Where is it? He was saying that.
All right, my friends, and my friends on Zoom, welcome back to the house there. And, you know, I'm excited about sharing with you today. But, you know, I am every time I do this, but maybe I'm more excited. I don't know. But let me first, I want to thank Tanya for setting up the visit to the concert last Saturday, and setting up this too, as she typically does. But I'm getting Tanya's vision for all of us, you know, in this world, in this time where we need people that know us, and people that we know, people that we can have measures of authenticity and trust. We need to connect. And so there were 7 of us together at the concert in Oxnard last week. And mostly, and this is not to say the music wasn't good, it was amazing. The music was amazing, and you know, there were like what, maybe 1,000 people there, something like that. And a bunch of them, you know, would dance. But I got joy out of just, the music for us was mostly the backdrop for our conversations as we, you know, just connected. And to me, the fact that maybe for about an hour I had a one-on-one conversation with Peter, wow, I was just lifted by that, you know? You got to talk with Peter sometimes. Insightful, he's intelligent, yeah, and has a big heart. You know, what a combination. So thank you, Tanya, for causing that to happen. I'm going to read this quote from Mr. Rogers. I believe that at the center of the universe there dwells a loving spirit who longs for all that's best in all of creation. A spirit who knows the great potential of each planet as well as each person, and little by little will love us into being more than we ever dreamed possible. That loving spirit would rather die than give up on any one of us. So thank you, Fred Rogers. Let me ask you if you will again envision the world after all power abuses and violence. Envision a world that realizes that there is enough for everyone and is passionate about making sure that everyone else knows that and that we are looking out for one another. What's in your spirit? Let that just rest in you right now, that world and the possibility of such a world. I was watching Friday a portion of the opening ceremonies for the Olympics in Paris. And I heard what to me was the most beautiful rendition of the song written by John Lennon and Yoko Ono, Imagine. And I think that song is something of an anthem for humanity in our times, you know. So you hear me quoting it all the time. Ad infinitum, you hear me quoting that song because to me it captures what I think is on the hearts of billions of people, even if they've never heard the song. Look, it was sung by this French woman on the Seine. And you know what's interesting to me is that there seemed to be, and maybe there was quietly, no recognition of the dissonance of her singing Imagine There's No Countries. And then all of these flags are right there in her face, right? We live with that kind of dissonance all the time. She is actually praising the end of countries, and yet it's in the moment where countries are being celebrated. And it makes me think of someone that we interviewed for the podcast last year, Professor Mays at UCLA, who is a professor of Indigenous Studies and Black Studies, because he's both. And he said, I'm not into patriotic stuff. I'm not into national anthems. But when I hear Whitney Houston sing that song, it just kind of erases all of the stuff that I have against the song, at least for that moment. Because she brings the soul to it, She brings her heritage, her ancestry into that song to the point that it actually even changes the meaning of it in some ways. Dissonance. Contradiction. We live with contradiction. And one of the reasons we come together like this and like that is to make sure that we are encouraged to not give up on the reality that we are envisioning. So these are the words that came to my heart as I was preparing to talk to you. We all have the hope of audacity. You know, I know, you know, I'm not in denial. The problems are real. We are living in the hottest times that planet Earth has known. And then there are the threats that people are talking about, you know, from gene manipulation to artificial intelligence. You know, all of these things are things that people debate, and there's a lot of dread around all of these things. But you know, church is for good news, right? I mean, it's for not ignoring the stakes and the issues, but the gospel means good news. Amen. So, right now we are living in a time where we need, you know, another word for news could be reporting. We are in line for good reporting, right? And we see so many destructive things happening. And that's because the empire is striking back. The empire feels threatened. So that's why we call upon the good news, good reporting. And today we're going to look in a moment about some good reporting from the words of Jesus. People have audacity, and it's so encouraging. People are becoming, arguably, globally becoming more than ever. Because only small spirits can fit in small systems.
Okay, tell that story.
Yeah. So I'm going to share with you 6 causes that I find of the hope of audacity. All right? 6 of them. I want everybody to say 6 of them. 6 of them. All right, you all are muted, so. Number 1, women. I'm not going to comment on this a whole lot because if you don't see women repositioning themselves on the global scene, if you have not noticed this, then you need a whole other conversation. You know, because these moments won't be enough without some superior anointing or something. Have you heard of, anybody heard the term manosphere? Yeah. So it's not just incels, you know, involuntarily celibate men. It's this whole thing that includes YouTube videos and blogs and websites, all kinds of presentations, to try to defend men because men are in trouble and they're being disadvantaged. So there's this whole thing to like get the men together and yeah. And they gather to critique feminism. They see all the problems with feminism. They include people like, I mean, their heroes are people like J.D. Vance. Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
I mean, he seriously says things like he says children should be granted the ballot, but their parents should be given control of it. Now, I don't know if you recognize what's going on here, but the manosphere wants to export millions of brown people and force millions of white women to keep having children. Do you see what's going on?
Yeah, true.
Okay. Number 1 is women. Number 2, Black, Indigenous, and other people of color are becoming audacious. Right? I mean, bold. We see it in our midst. We've got some amazing people in this room, in our company. I mean, audacious people. Like, Matt Lowe is audacious. We just, you know, send wind to the fire to kick it up higher in Matt Lowe. Right? I mean, among us, there are just amazing people. I mean, I think of I think of Ana Rosa, who is traveling right now. I think of Robina. Oh, you all don't know their stories. If you knew their stories. Did you know that Ana Rosa ran for city council down in one of those, LA has, I don't know how many cities, but she ran for city council. And then she ran for mayor and won. So she has served as a mayor. And now she's all over the Tri-County area advocating for people. I mean, she's amazing. The third cause for the hope of audacity is in youth, right? They're just not going to take it anymore. My mild-mannered nephew, Donovan, who is in sciences and all of the sciences that I can't even understand what they mean, was out at UCLA protesting. You would never know that somebody with that personality. And you know what? Audacity is infecting all kinds of people. Do not sell them short. It's causing people's visions to explode. Yeah. Number 4. All right, so number 1 is women, 2, black, indigenous, and other people of color. I think we have online today, we have Constantina. Clint and Julia were locked out for some reason. But anyway.
Sure, Kenichi's on.
That's right. Look at Kenichi. Kenichi goes against the grain, working at an evangelical institution. I'm just amazed he still has that job after all this time. He makes himself irreplaceable. Yeah. But young people are just, they're getting it done. We saw the video earlier, young people in Nairobi standing up to Christian nationalism. All right. Number 4, causes for the hope of audacity also lies in our understanding of morality. Morality is a real thing, but when it's being created and enforced by religious institutions, it can be problematic because it can divert us from what's truly immoral. And young people perceive that poverty is immoral, that ignoring climate change is immoral. And so this understanding morality, one thing they don't think is immoral is what we call 4-letter words. Language is not immoral to them. There's no way that you can be immoral by using words. In fact, sometimes it's not moral until you use the words. So instead of the false morality, there's this audacity to break rules, to challenge standards and mores, to get to the heart of the matter. All right, so number 5 is our understanding of institutions. Audacity scrutinizes power and seeks truth to power. Think of institutions, for those of you who have been in the world several decades, so much has changed. There was a time when someone said America's pastime, and I'm sorry, I know that we have some baseball fans among us, but baseball ain't what it used to be. When I was growing up, I had cards and I could tell you the batting average of somebody on some, on Minnesota's team or, whatever, teams that I wasn't even near. I could tell you those things. Now I could hardly tell you the names of any baseball players. What has happened? It's been supplanted by basketball, X Games, extreme X Games, women's basketball, soccer, on and on. If you go to it used to be the front page of the sports section. I'm talking about newspapers in case. There was a time when baseball was always on the front page, who's being traded for what and all of that kind of thing. And now, on the front page, you're going to see, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You're going to see women on the front page. Yeah, that never happened before. Soccer on the front page of the sports section? That just didn't happen. It was un-American. All right. How about this? Religion. People are not afraid of religion anymore. Not so much. I'm talking about these, everything is up for challenge. And sometimes we have these things that society calls sacred, and so we do stuff secretly, privately, because we don't want, the church people to find out. I can't tell you how many times when people know I'm a pastor and then they use certain kinds of words and they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, okay. I'm sure Roy can counter that, and Cheryl, and it's like, okay. But, thank you for expressing yourself. People are not afraid. You know what? I'll tell you what. We socially and culturally, and perhaps rightfully so, figures like Mother Teresa have this special place in the social iconography, right? But I remember when much of the world was mourning the death of Mother Teresa, Indian scholars at their universities, like the University of Mumbai, were criticizing her for bringing her Catholic values in a country that had so many children that were poor and bringing, no birth control to their society, and they were not happy about it. But I'll tell you what, on this side of the pond, if you say something about Mother Teresa, you don't have to be critical if you just bring up something that is critical. You could run into some opposition. If you want to know about opposition, you can talk to me. Whew. The gender of the institution of gender. There's so much boldness, right? So much boldness around responding, challenging what has been traditional in so many people, so many minds. And the same with marriage. All right, so all of this leads me to number 6. Because this one is loaded. Well, all of them are loaded, right? Yeah. But this is where I find the hope of audacity. It's in anti-Zionist Jews. I have to tell you that I get my information primarily from going into meetings, most of them on Zoom, with Jewish Voice for Peace and If Not Now. Because you know what? The news, the legacy media is not informing us. They gloss over stuff. I go straight to the sources, and I'm empowered by that. And social media. Legacy media has to keep trying to keep up with social media. And they're trying. They're just not there. So the passage that we read, because this deals not just with Zionism, but it does deal with Zionism's global impact, which enriches some and impoverishes others. We read Mark 11. Jesus and his disciples were walking by a fig tree that dried up from the roots, and Peter remembered it, and he said to Jesus, "Teacher, look, the fig tree that you cursed, it's all dried up." And Jesus said, "Have faith in God. I'm telling you seriously, whoever says to this mountain, 'Get up and throw yourself into the ocean,' and doesn't doubt it in their heart, but believes that what they say is happening, it will happen for them." So I'm telling you, all the things that you pray for and ask for, believe that you've received them, and it will be that way for you. And whenever you're standing there praying, forgive whatever you are holding against somebody that way. Your Father in heaven will forgive your offenses. You know, from my Pentecostal background, we were influenced, many of us, not everybody, and probably less so black Pentecostals, but still influenced by the Word of Faith movement, the positive confession movement. And this was the favorite scripture, right? Speak to those mountains in your life. Speak to the mountain of lack. Speak to the mountain of disease. Speak to the mountain of your kids not liking you. You know, speak to those mountains and command them to leave. And let me tell you, I don't dismiss the fact that there can be some applicability in those things because Peter asked the question, do you believe in miracles? I don't doubt that there is applicability and validity there. But Jesus said, if you believe and speak to not just any mountain, but this mountain, the mountain where he was, Mount Moriah, Mount Zion, that had become symbols of ancestral worship and even idolatry, to the point that those who occupied those spaces now were doing it with corruption and abuse and oppression. And when Jesus says that you can speak to this mountain, he was speaking to the dismantling of systems that seem impossible to change. It was here before you were born, it's here now, and it will be here after you die. How many times do you hear people say things like that? Well, it's always been this way, and it's always going to be this way. Yeah. So if you are a dreamer, remember, you're not the only one. And if you are a dreamer, then you're living in contradiction. You're living in this space, sometimes liminal kind of space. You're living in this place of dissonance. And sometimes it's hard to even talk to people because they think you're not being realistic. When you talk possibilities listen, Jesus was talking about political change, systemic change, but also he's talking about heart change. Because in that same discourse, he says, you got to forgive people. Yeah? I was feeling I try not to have resentment, right? I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be who I am. And so sometimes when I see people or hear a name or whatever, I just speak a blessing quietly to myself towards that person, right? To prevent myself from being overtaken. And then I don't expose myself to some things. So don't ask me what happened at the GOP convention. But what I'm saying is that I have to be intentional about forgiving, right? If I want the miracle to happen. If we want widespread structural change to happen, we have to forgive. And I was reading in Black Liturgies the other day when I was, a few mornings ago, I was feeling kind of weighted down. I was feeling some betrayal, if you will, some disappointment in people, the way they act socially. It seems like sometimes, you want people to get it, right? And so when they're not getting it, you're like, oh man, this is so heavy. And then I was reading Black Liturgies, and Cole Arthur Riley writes a prayer. May we be like the one who was in the garden whose friends fell asleep on him. And yet they were still included in his circle when they woke up. Does that speak to anybody? Does that, can we wear this lightly? Can we have mercy on people who are asleep? Yeah, grace. So the mountain represents formidable, apparently permanent things that are counterproductive, that injure people, and it causes people to want to lose heart. Get people to the point where they're just like going to throw up their hands because it's always been here, it's here now, and it'll always be here. Well, you can call me Pollyanna, you can call me, an idealist, visionary, unrealistic. But I didn't come across this yesterday. This is who I am. This is not something I just opened up a book and said, oh, yeah, all things are possible to those who believe. That's not where it comes from. This comes from my source, who delivers to me the agony and the resilience of ancestors. This is how I fight my battles. I'm about done, but I'm going to do this because it won't work here, but in Black Pentecostal and Baptist churches, when the preacher says, if you don't mind, I'm going to take my coat off, he's getting ready to preach. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's the signal. It's like when a singer takes the mic out of the holster and starts walking on the stage. The preacher just takes the coat off and says, I hope you all don't mind. And then he loosens up his tie and slings it off. And that's just the beginning of things. I promise you this is not the beginning. Today. I was interviewing for a podcast this past Tuesday a friend of mine, Ani Zanavel, who is a Muslim, and she is the founder and leader of Muslims for Progressive Values in Los Angeles, and it has international reach. And we were in the midst of the conversation, and I said something like, I don't even remember what the topic was, but I said, oh yeah, here's where we can give ourselves permission to whatever, to think this way or to. And the word permission for her is problematic. Ani said, no, we don't need permission from anybody, not even ourselves. we don't need permission. It's past time of permission. It's time to be, and it's time to do. And I was so impressed by it. I mean, she was correcting me, but I was taking it in. And it's time now. It's time to stop cowering. It's time to stop being fully shaped by things just because they've always been and they are now. And it's time to accept the possibilities of what can be, right? What can be. And what can be is you can imagine. Imagine there's no countries. Yeah, I know, you're thinking, but they've always been. No, they haven't always been. Not like this. Nation states are relatively new on the global scene. And all of those, all of those countries, if you talk to an African and you say, what country are you from? They're not usually interested in talking about their country. They want to talk about their nation, their tribe, their people, because somebody else gave them that country. And here we are, thinking that it has to be this way. So we're going to live in this liminal space, this place of contradiction, where we can have some relief. I mean, I do anyway. I'm not suggesting it's everybody. Where we can have some relief over the fact that Kamala Harris is the nominee of the Democratic Party. It doesn't mean that we like the two-party system. And it doesn't mean that we embrace the genocide that the Democrats are on board with. It doesn't mean any of that. You know what it means? It means I don't want my kids and grandkids to be under the control of Harlan Crow and Clarence Thomas for the rest of their lives. That's what it means.
Speak that truth out there.
Just like, whoa, I want them to have a fighting chance to survive. Yeah. So I'm going to stop here. And if you would, take a moment at your table and pray for the impossible to happen. Right? Would you do that? Just join those people. And I'm going to do the Zoom thing.
All of these things that we've become so familiar with. The waiting, the waiting for something to change.
You only go for stuff that's impossible, brother.
Desire.
You don't take the easy things, do you?
That we see it.
You start with impossible and you work backward.
And that you give us the courage
In my opinion, that's what I do.
to meet with others that are different and to talk
We're gonna work.
Because we have the audacity.
stand
So,
for something.
Renee and I answered your question. So,
Listen to our youth, to listen to those with different ideas, and to try to bring those into our lives, into our workplaces, into the grocery store, wherever we run into conversations with people, help us to stand for something, help us to encourage. Things will change. For those of us who fought when we were younger and have slowed down, just give us the conversations that we need with the right people at the right time to encourage them to go, to move forward. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Their hearts and minds always be
Renee said thank you so much. Love the service.
I didn't make it. I put, you know, the berries or
You are brighter than our darkest night, stronger than our toughest fight. Just one touch from you, our tender friend, and we'll never be the same. You are brighter than my darkest night, stronger than our toughest fight. Just one touch from us, my tender friend, we'll never be the same again. You are brighter than my darkest night, stronger than our toughest fight. Just one touch from you, my tender friend, never be the same again. Break through all our lies, break through all our fears, break through. We may worship you. Oh, break through all our pain, break through all our guilt and our shame, break through like only you can do. You are brighter than our darkest night, stronger than our toughest fight. Just one touch from you, our tender friend, will never be the same again. You are brighter than our darkest night, stronger than our toughest fight. Just one touch from you, our tender friend, and we'll never be the same again. Well, any thoughts on your heart that are deliverable, can in any way be managed to deliver with words? If this is a moment to go ahead and, openly share whatever it is.
Got something to burn in?
Come on, Matt. This way. Here we are. There you go.
There it is. Yes. Your point about anti-Zionist Jews really spoke to me of that passage, and I was like trying to connect it to that passage, and really took some sitting with it. But I sat with the word believe in that passage. You have to believe that you can move mountains, and the word believe, I had to sit with that and remember. The word believe actually means to, in Hebrew, it has multiple meanings. It means to know, to truly experience, to be one with, to have a sense of intimacy with. believe is not just this factual, like, oh, I believe. And to me, that idea of small spirits create small institutions and small worlds really blew up. Because here's anti-Zionist Jews. They're going against the grain. And I sat with that, and I sat with, I'm going to share some news that's, for some of you that are not on social media, haven't sat with this. Sonia Massey this week. 36-year-old black woman in Illinois. Shot in the face by a police officer that was called to her home. There's